Subsurface Circular is a text-based short by British developer Mike Bithell released in late 2017. Earning itself a Metacritic score of 78%, the title's gotten mostly positive feedback for its clean aesthetic and well-written, if contained, narrative. Reviewing this title is sort of unique because it's not really a game in the traditional sense, but more so a visual novel, meaning that ultimately I'll be providing my feedback on a series of conversations. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at the title to see if it's in fact a worthy investment of 2 hours of your time, or if one just might be better off avoiding the overt bait that is the end of its trailer. The story follows Beta 1-1, a robot whose class is that of a detective. So similar to any other robot in Subsurface Circular, Beta, for lack of a better word, is programmed to do one particular task: investigate. The title itself refers to the underground transportation network for robots, so think of the Subsurface Circular as a subway system of sorts in this dystopian future for robots with programmed jobs to get to said jobs. Respecting the request of the developer, I won't delve too much further into the narrative, as that would indeed divulge the price of admission. That being said, without any semblance of actual gameplay, the narrative here is the real meat and potatoes of this experience, and thankfully is actually pretty dang engrossing. Perhaps not for everyone, but I am confident that the title will appeal to sci-fi enthusiasts, or maybe people familiar with the themes of Animal Farm or THX 1138. Robots of the Subsurface Circular don't really have voices in the sense of audibly being able to communicate with one another, but rather a robot can establish a link with another robot to interact in the fashion of using text prompts. As Beta 1-1, the player must get to the bottom of its case by interrogating the ever-changing passengers of the cart. As the cart arrives at a stop on the Circular, robots will enter and sit down until they reach their destination. Meanwhile, Beta can open a dialogue with up to 3 of them and try to accomplish investigative goals set in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Once those goals have been met, conveniently the cart arrives at its next stop where the passengers are replaced by a new group of robots, and so on and so forth. Years of playing Telltale games unfortunately left me feeling sort of disappointed in that my dialogue choices had seemingly no effect on the overall chapter, as one basically has to choose every option to advance. However, once I came to terms with the fact that this was going to play out in a very particular way, I actually found myself really enjoying just that. So in short, the gameplay is just clicking on predetermined sentences and reading the responses given. But you know what? They sorta nailed it.
The next station is compile. Change here for outer.
The title's aesthetic works exceptionally well. Clearly more than a little derivative of the lesser works of Neil Blomkamp, the robots of the Subsurface look fantastic. They have a muted presence about them, which help them separate themselves from their more bombastic counterparts in the mentioned films. There is zero voice work outside of the PA occasionally chiming in to announce the next stop in the background. The soundtrack, which you've heard throughout this video, is really quite enjoyable, providing sort of a mellow ambient electronic tune that was just super relaxing to listen to throughout. Sort of the kind of music students listen to while studying, that sort of thing.
Next station is Finite Instance. Change here for outer.
Reviewing a visual novel is sort of strange in that it's like critiquing the physical pages of a book. There are some minor nitpicks I have holding me back from giving it a complete recommendation. I would have liked to see my dialogue choices affect the narrative throughout its runtime, and as crisp as the title looked, it ultimately is confined to just 6 seats on a train. So, as a short novel that exists on Nintendo Switch, it succeeds on nearly every front. Subsurface Circular is a short and sweet experience that will likely please sci-fi fans or fans of the walking sim genre with about 2 hours to kill. The title can be picked up on the Nintendo eShop for $5.99 and will take up just over 1/2 GB of storage on your Switch. As always, thank you so much for watching the video, and if you'd like to see more like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button.